Welcome to the February 7th City of Oldsmar Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. I am calling this meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Our first item on the agenda is our invocation and our pledge allegiance to the flag, which will be led by our city attorney, Tom Trask. Please rise.
Our Heavenly Father, as we gather this evening, grant us the wisdom and courage to know and do what is right and true. May we speak out when it is time to speak out and listen patiently and receptively when it is time to listen. May we always be guided by the spirit of our community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of understanding. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Next item on the agenda is our Oldsmar Public Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited up to 5 minute presentation on any subject. Please state your name and address for the record. The open forum will conclude at 7:30 p.m. Is there anybody on this side of the room that would like to approach the council? Come on up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexandra Beaverland. I live at 301 Congress Street. So, did the timer start?
She's the timer.
All right. So, in this day and age, we have an elderly and very spiteful man, Gerald Beaverland, shouting his opinion about a vehicle on my property. I should say his grandson, Jerry Beaverland III's property. We received a letter on our door stating that we would have to pay $250 a day to keep the vehicle on our property. I ask that this home on Congress Street be left alone to provide for my family's best interests and not succumb to a citizen complaint based on hearsay. The truck is not for commercial use any longer, and the only thing the complaint holds. If you wish for proof of non-commercial use, my counsel would be more than willing to provide any documentation for the sake of being pragmatic, factual documents that will hold in a legal situation. When we moved to Oldsmar, we were told the truck was fine being parked at our home with a classic tag on it. It has no commercial markings on it. We were also told if our adjoining neighbor had no issue, we would be fine. Our neighbor has helped us rebuild the engine and loves helping with the truck. It has a classic license plate, is registered, and is insured. The truck used to belong to Gerald and was parked on his property for 7 years with no issue. Gerald has decided to personally attack us and our home, yet he had no problem with the truck when it was being used for his own personal gain at his home less than 2 years ago, even though he says he's been complaining about it for 4. I have provided you all with pictures showing that the truck was used at Gerald Beaverland's home when he needed it. Gerald is using the City of Oldsmar Council for his own personal vendettas. We are the only ones in Oldsmar being told to remove our vehicle. Even though there are hundreds of commercial vehicles parked on people's properties and Project Classic cars, I would not point out these people for my benefit because they are also hardworking citizens trying to provide for their families. This is a blatant attempt at discrimination by Mr. Beaverland. I appreciate your time and would like to know how to proceed with this matter. I love this beautiful city of Oldsmar. I'm proud to be a member of this community, and I have no plans on leaving. I just would like to know how we can keep the truck on our property.
Thank you very much for coming up tonight. The city manager or someone from the city will get back to you. Okay?
Can
Thank
I have
you.
my pictures
Oh,
or my
yes.
box?
Yes. There you are. Thank you. Yep.
My neighbors are also in here.
Okay. Does anybody wish to speak from her neighborhood on behalf? Come on up, please.
Hi, y'all. My name is Jennifer Mallory. I live at 304 Congress Street. I want to thank you guys for everything that you do. I do live in the neighborhood. The truck has been out maybe 1 or 2 times, but most of the time it's tucked back on the side of their house. It's not a problem. He maintains a beautiful yard, beautiful house, helps me get my 100-year-old house, keep it standing. And I think no problem with having the truck in the neighborhood. And I can't even understand the commercial thing because it's a classic and it's just something that they putz around and drink beer on all weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in tonight. Anyone else would like to speak? Come on up, please.
Hi, I'm Antonia Bruno at 303 Congress Street, and they are right next to me, and we have no problem with the truck. It's a classic. My boyfriend is very good with engines and detail work with motors and all kinds of stuff, and he's been helping them for the last 2 years restore it. So there's no problem. It's not being used as a commercial vehicle. And driving here, just like my neighbor, I'm not going to say a specific address, but I went past one home. There's 4 commercial vehicles sitting on their front lawn across the sidewalks. And we're being harassed, and they're right down the street from us. So just take it in consideration. It is a classic vehicle. It's an antique, and it's used for pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming out. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on that issue while we're on it? Okay,
Do I?
come on up, Jerry.
I got something else to say.
Well, come on up.
Jerry Beaverland, Pine Avenue, 512 Pine Avenue South. And I am so happy that this young lady come up and gave me a good congratulations or whatever she did. The truck in question is a piece of junk. It is not a classic, and it is not an antique. Yes, it did belong to me at one time. It was never parked in my yard, never. I used it whenever I had to. It was parked at where I owned over on Marlboro Avenue, and that's where it was parked. Now, is somebody picking on them? Of course not. He's my grandson. But should the truck be moved? Of course it should, because that's in the codes. Again, it's not a classic. It's not an antique. It's a piece of junk. It won't even run. Now, the code says that the truck should be moved. It's been sitting there forever, and I've never said a word about it. Never said a word about it for years. And they were told in the beginning by the city to put it in the backyard, but get it out of the front yard. They were told that 3 or 4 years ago. That I know for a fact. They decided that they thought it was grandfathered in. The only person that's grandfathered in this city is me, because I'm old enough to be grandfathered in. That was a joke. So, it falls under the rules of everybody else in this city. Now, the man came up here last week or 2 weeks ago and made the same complaint about trucks all over the city in the driveways. And I made the comment that if the code enforcement officer would just ride down each street one time a year and tell these people they can't park those trucks in the driveway.
Thank you, Jerry. Is there something else that you wanted to approach the
sure.
council with before you run out of time?
Mayor, I'm going to try real fast with this one. I probably won't make it, but I'm going to try. The Historical Society has come up and said that they're having their 30-year
20.
anniversary. So I'm thinking about that 30-year anniversary. So I researched it. They're having their 20th year anniversary from the time it was being chartered. We started, my sweetheart and I started the Historical Society in 1992. You all know that. And during the time I was mayor, they met one time every month downstairs. And so I asked Loretta Wyant to be the president. I said the Historical Society needs to be chartered. And my beautiful daughter was the secretary at that time. And so in 2003, it was chartered. But it's been here since 1992. Now, talking about the Historical Society, you all know it's been downstairs for a long time. And I'm telling you for a fact, it has never grown, never. And I realize that, is it okay if I mention your name? Yeah, the city manager, I apologize, but the city manager wants to move it over to the library. That's the right move to make. Put it over in the library. And I would ask the council to support her on this, because nobody knows it's down here. Nobody. It hasn't grown a bit. over in the library, everybody will see it. And I suggest, wait, first of all, my sweetheart and I, we have invested in that historical society to the sum of $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, $6,000 that we've put in there. If you go down there and there's a certificate, it's actually a stock certificate signed by Olds. If you go to eBay or go somewhere and try to buy that stock certificate signed by REOs, you'll see a price of $5,000. Well, there's one hanging down there, and I asked the city clerk, I think at the time, whatever, put it up high so nobody could take it. There's books down there. I spent a lot of money on those books for the Historical Society. We spent a lot of time. I've spent years and years and hours and hours and hours what I've done with the books that I have written and all that. I hear it, and I'm about to finish. I hear it. I hope you didn't start me in the beginning. I got up here.
I was supposed to.
Oh, okay. Bless you. And anywhere, it needs to be over in the library. I gave each item to the city to place into the Historical Society. If they don't own it, the city owns everything that Wanda and I have donated to it. It needs to be cataloged, and they need to move immediately. Over there, they will grow. Now, I have a suggestion. They should open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 10 to 3 o'clock. I will sit there one day, and the mayor can sit there one day, and you all can advertise it. Meet the mayor at the library, at the Oldsmar Historical Society, and everybody will come to meet you. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for coming in today. Is there anybody on this side of the room who'd like to speak to the council? Anybody else? I think we got everybody. Anybody else on this side? Come on up.
Hi, guys. Sue DeGantis Cologne, 402 Arlington Avenue East, Oldsmar, Florida, our beautiful town. Miss Fallon, one of our theater and dance students, is going to bring each of you a Mardi Gras bead because we want to remind you about our upcoming Mardi Gras Gala just 2 weeks away. Is that right on our dates? And of course, we do need to follow protocol, but we want to remind you all, because I wanted to wear my mask and I know it's not appropriate, we want to remind you all to wear your best Mardi Gras mask because we will have contests for best masks, best dressed, best costumed, and we've got a lot of fun and games. The event is, going to go this way since they pulled off of you. Tuesday, February 21st, 2003, 6 to 9 p.m. It will be held in an intimate Under the Stars venue on the shores of Tampa Bay at Veterans Memorial Park. 6 to 7 p.m. is open to all ages. 7 to 9 p.m. is adults only because we do open the bar at 7 o'clock. Dinner will be served by Amici's, and we have a wonderful fair this year. We will have more Cajun Mardi Gras style food. We will have red beans and sausage over rice, and we will have shrimp Creole over rice, and muffaladas, and we will also have Cuban breezes. We'll be bringing some wonderful flan. We'll have some king cakes there to see if you can find the baby in the king cake. And we have games, prizes, live and silent auction. The auction site is now open, as Katie was so kind 2 weeks ago to go, it's open, and I went right home and made sure we had it up and running. We have dozens and dozens of wonderful items on our auction site, including a trip to Mardi Gras, or to New Orleans, I shouldn't say Mardi Gras, a trip to New Orleans, several golf packages for any of you golfers out there, and a lot of great items, fishing trip for 6. There's all kinds of great items. Any other great items I didn't think of that you can help me with?
Some hotel stays.
Oh, yes, some
locally,
hotel stays locally, restaurants.
good baskets.
And wonderful baskets with goodies in them. So please go on and check out our site. Our site for our auction is myminiauction.com, Oldsmar Friends of the Art / Oldsmar Friends of the Art. And you can go to ofota.org, which is a lot easier, and find the links there to get to our auction site and to learn all about our Mardi Gras. We want to let you know there's only about 30 tickets left. So we are expecting over 200 people to attend our event. Our dance, and as Fallon's freaking out right now because she knows she's in both the dance and the theater performances, we'll be performing from 6 to 7. So make sure you try to come early. And although I know council has a meeting that night, we're going to ask you either to come before and or after and send your significant others on over to join us, and you join them after your council meeting. So thank you very much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you at the second annual Mardi Gras Gala produced by Oldsmar Friends of the Arts in partnership with the City of Oldsmar. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, good to see you.
All right, anybody else on this side of the room would like to speak to the council? No one? All right, with that, I'm going to close the Oldsmar Public Open Forum. The next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Okay, well, let's see how things are looking in Oldsmar. Things are looking monthly. There's a new podcast, Mayor's Community Corner, hosted by Oldsmar Mayor Dan Saracki, you might know him, to engage the community on city initiatives, local businesses, events, and projects. Podcast monthly episodes are released on the 15th of each month. Recordings are released on the city's Experience Oldsmar podcast and YouTube channel. Things are looking up. Snuggle with Stars. Stargazers, Thursday, February 9th at sunset at Veterans Memorial Park. Get a free stellar glimpse of our universe at Stargazers this Thursday, beginning at sunset at Veterans Memorial Park. Bring a telescope if you have one. And things are looking tasty. Don't wait for ice cream truck harmonies and bells. Pals, seek out the treats. Ice Cream Social, Saturday, February 11th at 3 o'clock at the Public Library. Stop by the library for a free Ice Cream Social, hosted by the Friends of the Oldsmar Library. Games, balloon animals, face painting, and lots of family-friendly activities. So there you have it, all the things looking monthly up and tasty.
Great job, lots going on. Thank you, Ann. Next item on our agenda is approval of additional new agenda items, which is 2, 6, and 7. I need a motion.
So moved.
How about a
Motion to
second?
approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is awards and recognition. I don't see my award recipients here, so can we move on? I don't see it here. All right. So next item on the agenda is community redevelopment. And Vice Mayor, do you have a disclosure?
Thank you, Mayor. As we're voting on the CRA tonight, my primary residence is located within the CRA. I filed the appropriate paperwork on this issue with the city clerk already.
Thank you very much. And that is item number 2, approve purchase of property. Felicia, do you want to handle that?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. Approved purchase of property in the community redevelopment area at 200 Exeter Street, Oldsmar, Florida. One of the main goals of the CRA is to revitalize urban areas and to address the physical, social, and economic problems associated with blighted areas. Over the past 20 years, the city has acquired multiple properties within the CRA with the intent of redevelopment and revitalization of the town center consistent with the CRA plan. This real estate contract, if approved, will conclude multiple prior negotiations by the city in an attempt to acquire this property. The purchase price is supported by an appraisal completed on January 17, 2023 on behalf of the city. The appraisal placed the market value at $200,000. I have executed the contract on behalf of the city contingent upon approval of the city council. The contract is currently in the due diligence period and the city has procured an environmental site assessment of the site. The property consists of 0.26 acres and is adjacent to other city-owned properties. The property has a potential to define and improve the entrance to the town center from State Road 580. Staff recommends approval.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
How about a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion from anybody on this item?
Thank you to Mayor Beaverland for the historical context on that particular property. I didn't know all of that about the Grandstaff property, so thank you. But no, I'm excited to move forward with continuing to improve those sort of areas of property abutting State Road 580 there.
I agree. Anything else? Councilman Knapp?
I just welcome the opportunity to try to enhance the essentially the western gateway to our town center. So looking forward to seeing what our city manager and staff come up with.
Wonderful. Anything else? Nope.
I just wanted to add the vision to see what Felicia showed me this morning and the intent about improving the entrance to the downtown. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great foresight, and I look forward to it.
I agree. I agree with what everybody says. This is a great addition to our city properties. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? We just bought some more land. Congratulations, Felicia. All right. Next item on the agenda is our consent docket, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Item number 3, approve minutes of the January 17, 2023 council meeting. Item number 4, authorize city manager to execute work order number 5 with Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated under General Engineering Services for Transportation and Stormwater Agreement 2020-004-RFQ for the design of Bayview Boulevard and St. Petersburg Drive roundabout. Item number 5, approve awarding the contract for curb and sidewalk repair and replacement to Central Florida Contractors Incorporated under same pricing terms and conditions as City of Clearwater Contract 20-0026-EN, piggyback 23-014.
Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent docket? With that, I am looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Second?
Any other discussion on this? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is City Attorney, Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 6 is approve ratification of joint defense agreement. This is a new agenda item. As you know, former Mayor Seidel is a defendant in the David McDonald versus City of Oldsmar litigation and has recently obtained private counsel to represent him in that litigation. Because all the defendants in the case share a common interest in obtaining a successful result, it benefits all of the defendants for Mr. Seidel's attorney and for litigation counsel for the city to share information and develop theories and facts in defense of the case. In most cases, such voluntary disclosure to third party or otherwise privileged information and material waives the privilege because it's inconsistent with the confidential lawyer-client relationship. An exception to this general waiver rule typically is called a common interest or joint defense exception and enables litigants to, who share a unified interest to exchange privileged information to adequately prepare their cases without losing the protection afforded by the privilege. Though the joint defense exception is valid under common law, attorneys commonly seek to formalize and memorialize it via a written joint defense agreement. The joint defense agreement attached to the memorandum and in your packet is presented for your consideration as such an agreement. Litigation counsel previously executed the agreement on behalf of the city and recommends that the city council ratify that joint defense agreement so that information can be shared in furtherance of the defense of the case without waiving any privileges which may otherwise attach. With that being completed as the presentation, we're asking that you approve ratification of the joint defense agreement.
Okay, I need a motion so that we can discuss this.
Motion to approve ratification of the joint defense agreement?
How about a second?
Second.
All right, so let's open up discussion. Does anybody wish to speak on this matter?
Yes, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
So this whole case has been in my backyard since the day before the election. I've lost sleep the past couple of days because of this. Obviously, everybody knows Dave McDonald's my uncle, and this issue is continuing to go on. And my problem is I don't understand why we're even in this case. That's the ultimate problem here, is why do we have this case to even begin with? I put my notes on paper today so I can stay on track, but my decisions at this meeting and other meetings will always be in the interest of protecting this city and doing what's in the best interest of this city. Not for a friend, not for a family member, not for a relative. And yes, with this density issue, my family was against it. But it's not about me and my family. It is about what is in the best interest of this city. We all took an oath to protect this city. And with that, I have a ton of questions regarding this case. And I've asked Tom recently on the dais about 4 months ago, can we bring what's going on with these to the public eye? And Tom, you said no, we shouldn't do that. Yet here we are discussing a joint defense agreement with another council and talking about strategy in an open forum. At the end of this, what this is essentially going to do is increase the cost to our taxpayers to defend this case. I spoke with the city manager earlier today, and I understand at one point in time, there was an email, I could not find it today, that may have stated that there was some sort of, we would redo the meetings, redo the density meetings, and redo everything, that Mr. McDonald may drop the case. Based on my conversation with Felicia this morning, we kind of viewed that as kind of a veiled threat, right? We're not going to sit here and govern this city by threat. And honestly, I'm not going to govern by threat either. But isn't that exactly what we're doing here today? Both item 6 and item 8, that letter from that attorney is literally threatening us that if we don't reimburse his fees, we're going to be on the hook and they're going to come after us. So now here we are, over $50,000 in legal fees that we've spent on this case, when it could have been settled long ago. If we continue this case, Tom, what do you think the city's estimated spend is to defend this case with your firm and this firm's cost, based on your expertise?
I don't have an estimate. I could ask Jay, and he could provide one. He's the litigation counsel, but I have not discussed that with him, so I don't know the answer to the question tonight.
I'd like to know that. I'd like to understand how much we're going to continue to spend on this case when there was a way out. There could have been a way out earlier. Other questions is, did Mayor Seidel choose to seek this external counsel on his own? Or was he advised? Because when I look at that and I say, Eric went out and got his own counsel. What is he worried about, right? So my immediate thoughts, being the new guy on this council, is he's lost confidence in our city attorney. Our former mayor is saying, I need other counsel because I don't believe this counsel is going to protect my personal interests. In fact, he even stated as such earlier today on Facebook. So I'm not sure who made the recommendation. I don't care who made the recommendation. I want to bring these things to light. I want to understand these questions. So my other question is in this joint defense agreement, so now we're paying you and we're going to pay this other attorney. So is this other attorney, is he solely representing Mayor Seidel, or are you going to continue representing, are we going to be double charged for those efforts?
You're mixing the two agenda items. This agenda item is
Okay,
just the
I
joint
apologize.
defense agreement.
Okay, I can come back to that.
Okay.
This city council and our charter officials that we appoint, we have an obligation to these citizens to act on their behalf in their best interest. That is our fiduciary responsibility. When we're up here in these meetings, we are relying, if not asking, for our city clerks and our city manager and our city attorneys' expertise to make sure that we're not going down a path or making a decision on something that we're exposing this city to. Last year, late last year, in my first year being as an elected official, there's a lot of learning. It's been a process. And I took my first ethics course this past November. And I was shocked. I was in complete shock. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Because here we are in the premise of this case, that there was a meeting, whatever we want to call it, outside of the city, that your firm was aware of, your partner was aware of. We had public open meetings about, we're thinking about going to Armature Works outside of the city for this meeting. We all took this ethics course, and I printed the slide. I printed it out a few months ago when I took it. And it's got, meetings should not occur in restaurants, small rooms, out of town, or in other places that unreasonably limit access. Section 286.011, paragraph 6, Florida statute, expressly prohibits the holding of any meeting subject to the Sunshine Law at any facility which discriminates on the basis of sex, age, race, creed, color, origin, or economic status, or which operates in such a manner to unreasonably restrict public access to a facility. This meeting was at 8 a.m. Tuesday in Armature Works in Tampa. We all took this course. Yet the prior council, whoever did, made a decision to go outside the city, even though our city attorneys teach every elected municipal official in this state through the Florida League of Cities that you shouldn't do it. So why are we in this case? Why are we continuing to spend money on this case when we should have never had the meeting outside the city? I'm blown away. But I'm even more blown away because as much as I asked not to be involved in any of the kind of process in this, I'm being forced here because of these items 6 and 8. I've gone through, I've read everything publicly that's out there. I read the affidavits. I can't believe what the affidavits say from the people that are listed on this suit. Because it says in those affidavits, it literally says, none of the training indicated, talks about the ethics training, none of the training indicated that a municipality could not hold a noticed public meeting outside its geographic boundaries, and at no time did Oldsmar City Attorney advise me such a meeting was or might be unlawful. So you guys, the council that was here, you guys were never advised. We're not professional politicians. We're not hold on. They say we're not professional lawyers. We have 2 lawyers here. We're not professional municipal lawyers. We don't know this stuff like the back of our hand. And so when we're doing something up here on the dais and saying, let's have a meeting at Armature Works, where is the representation? Where is the advice from our city attorney basically telling us, hey, don't do this, you're exposing yourself? Section 286.11, paragraph 4 also states when a violation is found, the plaintiff's reasonable attorney's fees shall be assessed, including the appellate's attorney's fees. But then it says something interesting. It says the fees can be assessed against the individual board member or commissioner or council person if legal counsel is not sought. So I'm looking at this and item number 8, and I'm going, there are 3 other council members here that could be on the hook for these fees because they weren't provided the advice. And so this entire process of the joint defense agreement, paragraph 8, personally, I want this suit ended. I don't know how we do it. I want to see this thing ended. I want to see a resolution to it. I want to stop spending our taxpayers' money on this and move on. Because if we don't, we're putting at risk the entire downtown. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Tom, do you have any comments on that? Would you want to, just anything you have to share with us?
Not at this point, no.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Graber, do you have any comments?
No comments.
Any comments over here? Councilmember Gannon?
I decline to discuss the merits of this litigation. I decline to address anything that you just said, Vice Mayor Buckman. I decline to address the accusations that you just made against all of us. Your comments and theories are unfounded. You have specifically requested to remain independent, yet question every step of the way, everything about it, based on no information. That slide, that ethics course you just talked about attending is the one you literally joked with me at the podium on your way out of a meeting that you got to leave early and miss. You missed the presentation from Tom and his folks.
Point of order. That is incorrect. What
Okay,
I told you was the municipal
hold on.
elected
I'm
officials.
talking right now. I think you had your moment to accuse me.
I never accused you, Katie.
Katie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor, it's for you to say that you've lost sleep the past few nights is beyond ironic. I call the question.
Councilmember Knapp, do you have any comments?
She's called the question.
She's calling the question, so.
So if you have additional comments, now is your opportunity to speak, but otherwise the question's been called. And so you should have the vote taken, Mayor, on the question.
I'm fine with the vote proceeding.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is consider reimbursement. Former Mayor Seidel for reimbursement and payment. Tom?
Yes, that's the agenda item for you to consider this evening. I'm just going to go ahead and read a portion of the memorandum that was prepared by litigation counsel, my partner Jay Daigneault, in his memo to the council on February 1st. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously. But by correspondence dated January 20th, 2023, former Mayor Eric Seidel, through council, has requested reimbursement from the city for attorney's fees expended to date and for payment of attorney's fees moving forward in connection with the defense of the aforementioned lawsuit, the David McDonald City of Oldsmar case. When proceedings seek a non-monetary remedy, as is the case here, municipalities may provide a defense to municipal officers or employees under the common law theories set forth in Florida, so long as a two-part official's duty public purpose test, as articulated in Thornburg versus City of Walton Beach, is met. In this case, litigation counsel, my partner Jay Daigneault, issued an opinion that the Thornburg test is met and that former Mayor Seidel is entitled under common law to reimbursement and payment of his attorney's fees and costs. The Thornburg versus the City of Fort Walton Beach notes in its case reading that the purpose of the common law rule is to avoid the chilling effect that the denial of representation may have on public officials in performing their duties properly and diligently. The two-pronged test that we look at when we look at the Thornburg test is first that the matter at issue must arise out of or be in connection with the performance of their official duties, and the second of the two-pronged test is such performance of duties serves a public purpose. Obviously, the matter arose out of the attendance at a council meeting, and obviously, council members appear at council meetings to serve the public purpose. It's my partner's opinion that Thornburg test is satisfied as the former Mayor Seidel and all of the individual defendants, thus creating an entitlement to the payment of the attorney's fees and costs. A secondary question may arise under the facts and whether the city should pay former Mayor Seidel's attorney's fees, even though the city is already funding his defense through the city attorney's office. A diligent search has uncovered no legal authority speaking directly to this issue or altering the foregoing common law principles. So it's his opinion that at this time it is a matter of your judgment rather than one of law. The options that Jay is suggesting are as follows. Number one, decline to offer reimbursement or payment to former Mayor Seidel's counsel. This option carries the risk associated with the declaratory judgment action brought by his counsel, as he states in his letter. Number two, agree to provide reimbursement or payment to former Mayor Seidel's counsel as requested. Or number three, the third option, agree to consider former Mayor Seidel's counsel request for reimbursement at the conclusion of the case. That may also prompt declaratory judgment action. So those are the options that are being suggested by my partner and who's representing the city and the defendants in this case. We do believe that there is a common law right to the attorney fee coverage, and so it's my recommendation that you choose option number two, but obviously it is up to the council.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. I need a motion so that we can discuss this item.
I make a motion that the council direct the city attorney to respond to the demand letter for reimbursement and agree to provide reimbursement for payment of the former Mayor Seidel's counsel periodically as requested for the reasons stated in the memorandum from litigation counsel.
Second?
Second.
All right, anybody want to discuss this item?
I made the motion, I'm happy to. So the delta to me in this situation, option one, decline, and based on my reading of the letter from counsel, litigation associated with the declaratory judgment action would be a sure thing, not a may. The third option, agree to consider the request at the conclusion of the case, but based on the duty to indemnify that is ongoing, that likely also would prompt a declaratory action as well. So the associated attorney's fees and costs with defending a declaratory action as this proceeds or at the conclusion of the case outweighs the reimbursement and payment along the way, which has been requested. And according to the case law that is reviewed in here, there is a common law duty of indemnification when there is an exception to the bad faith part, which is not included as part of the complaint. So to me, it's a financial and strategic decision on the city's behalf.
Thank you. Councilmember Knapp, any comments?
I would agree that in essence, it comes down to the financial impact of these three options. And as a question that was raised earlier, I believe, as far as kind of double representation or double billing while the former mayor may still in a official capacity be being represented, there is no time being consumed by Mr. Trask and Mr. Daigneault's firm on his behalf, more so because it's relating to the correspondence that takes place with the other parties in the case, and that essentially the time that's attorney's fees and time that are being accrued by Mr. Seidel are solely going through his independent counsel at this time. So,
Good point.
where I see it.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No comments from me.
Vice Mayor?
No comment.
Okay. Jerry can't talk yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to come up, Jerry? Come on up, sure.
Under the statute, agenda item to speak.
Yep.
Jerry Beaver, 512 Pine Avenue South. I now recall you said I could talk about this at the beginning, but everything got confused and I sat down.
You're welcome to come up.
In 1992, I was sued. I sat on council and I was sued. The city was sued and I was sued individually. In 1996, the city was sued again and I was mayor and if I understand, I think I was sued individually, but I'm not questioning about that. I'm not really sure. And I'm sorry that you're in this bind. If I had been sued personally, which I was in 1992, or not 1991, if I had left council, then if I had lost the election the next year, that would be on my shoulders. I wasn't on council at the time. Again, I was sued personally. I would have sent the same letter. Council, pick up my damn attorney. 'Cause I can't afford it. I don't know the facts of all of this. I will say this, and I said it before. Tom has always been there to give us advice. And I applaud you for that. I don't think you'd ever give advice that wasn't necessary. But paying Eric, I would have asked the same thing if I had lost the election in 93. I'd want the city to pay it. Because the lawsuit, I don't think the city would have defended me at that time. In fact, I know they wouldn't because we had an attorney back then that was a jerk. And we won that case because I had my own attorney. So you go make a decision that you all want, but if pay my attorney.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for coming up. David, come on up. Yep, come on up. State your name and address, please.
Dave McDonald, 124 Shore Drive Place. First of all, I'd like to say I think it was dead on what he said, factual. So I'm not sure what you thought was unfactual about that, but I am familiar with the case. And Vice Mayor Buckman, I think you were dead on factual about what the case is. One of the things that needs to be brought out to this council that wasn't brought out to this is that last week in a deposition, Eric Seidel said that he chose this lawyer upon recommendation of Tom Trask. And this same lawyer is representing Tom Trask in other cases. So I think there may be a conflict of interest of your city attorney recommending that you pay this attorney when he actually has him under retainment in other cases. And I believe it's City of Tarpon Springs. I may be wrong, but I believe I read the article right. And I know personally that he has retained him in other issues. So there might be a conflict of interest here of your city attorney even talking about the case law and bringing up case law and recommending it because he has a personal relationship and a financial relationship with this attorney to be getting paid. So he's paying this attorney and he's recommending you pay this attorney. So I think there may be a conflict of interest there, and there's two lawyers on this board. You may want to look at that issue of whether you think that's a conflict of interest or not. But you know, like Mayor Buckwood says, this case is going to go on, and this was wrong. You had a meeting outside the city and outside the county, and it's wrong under state statute. And we're going to go through all the way through it, and you can pay all the city taxpayer you want. But I'm going to tell you, there's been a lot of stuff around here about me wasting the city taxpayer money, maybe hearing from the city manager that I'm wasting taxpayer money and all that. But I want to tell you right now, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you go in your kitchen, you shine a flashlight, and there's 4 cockroaches eating food and destroying all your food, do you blame the flashlight for having to replace the food, or do you blame the 4 cockroaches? Okay, thank you, Bear.
Okay, any other comments? I just have a quick comment. I just want to say a couple things, especially to Councilmember Gannon and Councilmember Knapp and Councilmember Graber. I wish this would go away. I feel horrible that this is happening to us. I feel horrible it's even happening to our city. I'm actually pretty upset about it. And I don't even know what to think anymore, because today when I was meeting with Felicia Donnelly, our city manager, and talking about certain legal issues that I've been through that I shared with her, I was just, I wish it would go away. I really do. I don't wish we were in this predicament for our city council. I think we are a pretty unique, good team. I think we all have a lot of common sense. We all work well together, and we make decisions that are for the benefit of the people in the city of the city of Oldsmar. And I just wish it would go away. I don't know what else to say. And I just want you to know that I'm thinking about all 3 of you during this process that you have to go through. And I just want you to know that. Okay, with that, we have a motion. We have a second. And this is item number 7, which is to consider reimbursement of Mayor Seidel's payments and attorney fees. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'm going to abstain my vote, please.
You have to vote.
No.
Under Florida statute, you have to vote unless there's a conflict of interest.
I see it as a perceived conflict. The perception is it's a conflict.
But that's not what the law is. The law is that you need to vote.
Am I putting myself at risk?
No, you're making a decision as a
I
councilman.
understand that, but my uncle, who's involved with this case, I'm now funding the other half of it.
You're
I'm
not
looking-
funding anything.
The city is funding it, sorry. I'm making a decision for the city to fund it. I'm making that decision. How is this not a conflict of interest on me?
Because there's no benefit that goes to you.
There's no benefit.
Vice Mayor, do you want to vote?
I vote no.
Motion passes.
What was your vote, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, 4-1.
Yep, 4-1. Next item on the agenda is item 8, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 8 is adopt resolution 2023-03, accepting the invitation to join the Advantage Pinellas Housing Compact. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2023-03, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, accepting the invitation to join and authorizing the mayor and/or the city manager to execute the Advantage Pinellas Housing Compact from Forward Pinellas on behalf of the City of Oldsmar and providing for an effective date. That was reading of Resolution 2023-03 by title only.
Okay, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
How about a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on Pinellas Housing Compact? No? With that, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 8 passes. Next item on the agenda is our city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Item number 9, approve service level agreement for use of a web-based software system for third-party reporting of fire protection system inspections with Brycer LLC. All fire alarm systems, fire sprinkler systems, fixed fire protection systems, and any other fire protection system installed as a requirement of the Florida Fire Prevention Codes are required to undergo either semi-annual or annual inspection and maintenance by a third-party contractor. As the authority having jurisdiction, the City of Oldsmar Fire Rescue is required by the FFPC to receive inspection reports of these systems. Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar was recently amended to require electronic submittal of these inspection reports. Brycer's web-based software system, the Compliance Engine, will assist in upholding compliance with reporting requirements by the appropriate contractors and provide the city with an organized platform to maintain the submitted inspection reports. The proposed associated costs are transferred to the contractor currently at a rate of $30 per system report. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. So recommended motion is approved service level agreement for use of the web-based software system for third-party reporting of fire protection system inspections. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10.
Item number 10, approve the USA BMX State Series event agreement with the American Bicycle Association to host USA BMX State Series events on February 17th through 19th, 2023. This item recommends the consideration of the approval of the agreement between Oldsmar and the ABA to host the USA BMX State Series event February 17th through 19th at the Oldsmar Sports Complex. City hosted BMX State Series events prior to the renovation of the starting hills and is in rotation again to host the event in 2023. This event will precede the Gator Nationals event taking place February 24th to 26th as coordinated with USA BMX to maximize participation. As anticipated, there'll be over 1,000 participants with an attendance of approximately 3,500 spectators daily for this weekend event. This is a very unique opportunity for the city to host two major events back to back. It creates week-long room night stays, which has a significant economic impact to both the events having sort of the bookends of the week. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
Fantastic. I need a motion to approve.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? There are a lot of people coming to town.
It's
All
gonna
in-
be a busy, busy weekends.
That's right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.
Item number 11, approve the agreement with the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management, Public Assistance Subgrant Agreement Z3026, which supports DR 4673 Hurricane Ian, federal and state reimbursement for expenses incurred during Hurricane Ian. On September 28th, Hurricane Ian struck the state of Florida. City of Oldsmar, by and through its actions in preparation for, response during, and cleanup after the event, incurred considerable expenses which are eligible for reimbursement through the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Florida Division of Emergency Management programs that are authorized by their respective governments to assist public agencies in reimbursing some of the costs associated with emergency responses. The attached subgrant agreement is the basis for the overarching reimbursement program and provides for partial reimbursement for jurisdiction-wide emergency protective measures as well as citywide debris removal. Subsequent modifications will follow based on FEMA and FDEM approval and will be presented as additional amendments to the original agreement. Staff recommends approval.
All right. I need a motion to approve.
I move.
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item?
Hope we get some reimbursement.
Yep, get some money back and a lot of signing to do. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is our city clerk, Ann Nixon. Thank you, Felicia, city manager. Thank you.
Welcome.
Item 12, cancel or reschedule a regular council meeting on July 4, 2023. Cancel or reschedule a regular council meeting on July 4, 2023.
Okay,
Well
thank
read.
you.
Thanks.
All right, so I added this to the agenda. The 4th of July is actually on Tuesday. I talked to our city manager today about maybe the week before filling up our schedule and then the week after so that we can not have a meeting that week of July 4th. And she said she'd keep us very busy. So I need a motion to approve to cancel the July 4th meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, City Clerk. Next item on the agenda is City Council, which is council comments, and I have Vice Mayor going first.
I have no comments tonight, Mayor.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. We've got the Oldsmar Cares Gala this coming Thursday evening, and looking forward to being out there and supporting that great organization. I hope we raise a lot of money so that we can take care of those less fortunate than us. Should be a nice time to get out and enjoy social life. Second thing, we got Oldsmar Little League opening day this Saturday. It will be at times a joyous event and sometimes a sad event as they take the opportunity to honor my late teammate, Scotty McMullen, and naming one of the batting cages after him. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there and to say thanks to his parents for what they're doing and giving back to place that was so special for many of us growing up. That will be my only participation in the fun-filled and jam-packed events of Saturday because I'm taking the family for our first trip to Disney with little Leona and Henry. We'll be spending a few days out there. And,
Great.
having a good old time. And last but not least, she told me not to do this, but I'm not going to listen. 8 years ago, I met my now beautiful wife, and looking forward to 8+ more years and a lifetime of adventure ahead. So I just want to say, honey, if you're watching, I love you, and sorry for mentioning it. Thank you,
All right,
Mayor.
good job. So let's go back to the Little League real quick. Katie, are you going also?
Yes. I'll be
Okay.
a little-
Councilmember Graber, will you be there?
We've got other events that night.
Okay.
I will be there.
So here's the thing. When I first got on council, I just want to tell a quick story before I move on. Is that okay? So when I first got on council, I went to the Little League and no one was there. So I had to throw the pitch. And then the year after that, more people started showing up, right? So last year, the mayor got to throw the pitch. So this year, I'd like to do something different, if it's okay with the council members. I'd like us all to throw a pitch, just kick it off. Because I think it's important that we all be involved with the Little League. I think that the Little League is really taking off in Oldsmar. There's a lot of people, the young adults are getting involved. So is that okay?
Start warming
Oh,
up.
we're
Start warming up,
better
right?
at throwing a baseball than you are at riding a
So
bike.
I'll go first and then
We'll see.
We'll go vice
I don't
mayor
wanna
and then
s-
we'll
I
go
don't
right
wanna
down the
stand
line.
next to Nap.
All
I don't
right,
wanna
so
stand
good.
next
So
to
let's
Nap.
plan on that. All right, next is Councilmember Graber,
No comments from me, Mayor. Thank you.
okay? And then Councilmember Gannon.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of events on Saturday, but there's also the Women's Club of Oldsmar. We're having our annual Super Party, that's SOUP, soup, which is a $5 all-you-can-eat soup party that is put on by the Women's Club. We have, I believe, 14 soups this year, including a vegan and a vegetarian option, and a cold soup, actually, as well. So that will be Saturday at 11 a.m. at the State Street Center, right next door here. The money goes to the Women's Club to provide scholarships to local students, support our local elementary schools, the performing arts, Opal Theater, and much, much more. So come hungry and ready to enjoy the delicious soups of the many talented women who I'm amazed every year. I love Paula's. The Okeechobee is one of my favorites. And honestly, Paula has actually done a lot of the legwork this year in promoting the event and creating the social media presence and organizing it. So many thanks to Paula Staracki.
Thank you. That's it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
events going on this
Well,
weekend. I just wanted to mention that
And
one
it's kind of
more.
funny you brought the soup up, because I had it on my list, but I just wanted to share with you. She's been on the phone the last 3 days. Are you bringing your soup?
Yeah.
Are you bringing your soup? She's been calling everybody, trying to make sure. I think it
getting her
is, yeah, it's
emails.
14 soups, so.
Yeah, her
She's
emails.
been hustling. So I got one other thing, and then that's it. The last thing I have is the Oldsmar Historical Society that Mayor Beverlin talked about. We're having another walking tour because we had so many people involved in the last one. It's March 11th. It's the same time. It's going to start at Historical Society downstairs, but it's March 11th. If you want more info, call 813-716-7434. Get registered and get on the walking tour and learn about the history of Oldsmar. And again, some of the homeowners are going to allow you to go inside their homes that were built in the early 1900s. So go check that out. Other than that, that's all I had. And item 14 is approved tentative agenda for the February 21st, 2023 council meeting. Does anyone wish to pull or add anything to the agenda? Okay, with that, I need a motion to approve. Second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Doblanos.